K-Rino Radio. Ha. K-Rino Radio. Ha. Ha. Let's tell them about it. You're listening to K-Rino Radio on 90.1. Who is he? What is he? What does he do? Where is he from? H-Town, where the independent grind was invented. Understand, I'm the property owner, you just a tenant. KPFT is the station and location for the really special guests. Good knowledge and information for the coldest on the air. We making a strong case. If you scared of the truth, then you in the wrong place. Every Friday, 11 o'clock p.m. Central. We cooking the game, serving it up, feeding your mental. You can even call in, dial 713, backdoor it with 526 KPFT. We ain't playing with them, we gon' tell it like it is, partner. Out of town, KPFT.org, yeah, we got ya. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now. How'd I get on the airways? I know y'all like, wow, K-Rino Radio, homie, starting right about now. What's going on, family? It's your big brother K-Rino, and once again, as we always do at this time every Friday night, y'all are tuned in to K-Rino Radio right here on KPFT. If you are listening, hit somebody up and tell them they need to be listening as well, man. We want to make sure that everybody hears and knows what we got popping, because tonight we have another legendary special guest in the building. This brother right here, man, when you talk about singers, and y'all know how I am, Murder knows how I am, Kermit knows how I am, I don't like to relegate our great artists to just Houston. Well, he's one of the best in Houston. Yeah, he is that. But when you talk about pure natural singing ability, this man is one of the best that you will ever hear, man. He has appeared on countless records, albums, hooks. He's the guy that people call and say, man, I need you to come blaze this up. Not to mention his own career has been very successful doing his own thing. Baptiste Music Group's own, the one and only, the iconic Billy Cook is in the building. What's up, my brother?
What's up with it, K-Rino, what it do?
Man, we are blessed, man. Blessed to have you here, man. Just grateful to have you in the building with us to give people another opportunity. I don't want to say an opportunity because you've been so busy and so active throughout your whole career that you've always done interviews and given people bits and pieces of who you are and what you do. But we want to give people another chance to talk to Billy Cook and hear from Billy Cook to let them know what's been going on, big brother. So we welcome you and glad to have you in the building today.
Oh, man, I'm glad to be in the building, man. It's better to be in the building than be out there, 6 feet deep, under the ground, under the earth, man. So I'm glad to be living.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to live full.
Absolutely, man. You've been doing that, man. We want to get straight to it. Tell everybody that's listening, what are your origins in music? What attracted you to this thing we love and call music, and who are some of the artists that grabbed you and pulled you in just when you heard them and said, this is who I want to be like and this is something I want to do?
Well, awesome. Well, first off, man, I just want to thank you for letting me, have a voice up here with KPFT, and Damage Control, because it's been a long time since I've been up here at Damage Control. And,
but Damage Control is Wednesday night, You're on K-Rino Radio today. But shout out to Damage Control.
K-Rino Radio.
Yes,
it's really important to me to be here in support of you, and and the same vice versa. Supporting me and giving me the opportunity to have a voice tonight. I'm really excited about what's going on. How I actually, I was actually signed to Rap A Lot a long time ago, and I knew that I was going to be big in music. I just didn't know where my timing was gonna actually lap, or where it was gonna actually start, until I heard artists like Dave Hollister and the Isley Brothers. I was in an aura of R&B, which is, I came from the Key Sweat days, the Babyface era, of listening to music, as far as around the age that where I really wanted to be like, those type of artists. But I knew I was going to blossom into something big, and I always wanted to be something like an Elvis Presley or a Bobby Womack, a Luther Vandross type artist. You know, so I started honing my skills after listening to those artists. But I knew that at the time and era where I was at in the music was a lot of R&B hip hop artists. It was dealing with a lot of underground rap, underground R&B, and it was different. And I kind of like, when I heard the music, I was like, man, this is a great sound that I think everybody should hear. My first record to appear on was Big Mike from the Ghetto Boys. The second album was Superstar with Fat Pat. So one was an artist on a major label, the second was an underground artist. Two different sounds.
Right.
But it was all relevant what everybody was speaking. It was a different language. It allowed me to shape and sharpen my skill set, become better than who I was when I first started. And fast forward, here it is, 2018, and I've already featured on over 700 albums.
That's crazy,
so,
man.
When you look at the albums where I came from, a lot of people may not give me the recognition, but the streets will also admonish, will also let everybody know what the flagship sound was coming from H-Town. You know, because even though being a voice behind the scenes, I didn't have to be seen. I just wanted to be heard.
Man,
and so that's one of the songs on the album.
That's incredible, man. A few things you said jumped out. The last part is that you featured on over 700 projects, man. People haven't even wrote 700 words in their life, man, much less been on 700 albums, man. But that's just a testament to your talent, because people seek you out. They say, man, because I've done it. Man, I can hear Billy Cook on this. You know, that's when you know, when you that guy, when people sitting up and just say, this sounds like something Billy Cook would be, you know. So that's the beauty of it. But another thing that caught my interest just now when you said, like, when you're speaking about your influences, it's rare to hear a brother say that Elvis Presley was one of his one of his influence. Now, speak on the Elvis influence, because we know Elvis is an iconic artist, but what was it about Elvis Presley that attracted you to him and how he did his thing?
It wasn't so much as his music; it was the fact that he was all around. He got into acting. He was in Western movies. He was in a lot of movies where he played so many different characters. I saw the feeling and the passion that he put behind that, because he knew that just as well as he was good as an artist, he needed to be the same if he was going to do acting, so people don't just put him in a box. Yeah. I never wanted to be put in a box. You know, I'm always the person that, when in school, I never drew or colored inside the circles. I was always outside. I would draw other things outside of that circle and give that circle something that differentiated itself from everybody else. It was never attached. It was really a part. And I've always set myself apart, you know, and in the music industry, not to disassociate, but to accommodate. Wow. You know, and so that's basically what I saw in Elvis. But it wasn't just Elvis; it was a combination of other artists that had similar techniques of how they would engage with the other genres of music or different types of things they was associated with.
Well, you know, branding been around long before that term got popular. Mm-hmm. So artists would just transcend past just the actual music side of it, and they would do other things like get into acting, getting into commercials and merchandise and things of that nature. So you can look at an individual and say, I'll pattern myself after the model that he used to build his total self up. So that's a great point. Now, but through everything that you're saying, you still got to have the talent to do that.
To back it up.
And you was definitely born with the ability, the natural singing. Is singing something that's, most singers I know that's cold, the way you sing, cold like you, they come from singing families. Mm-hmm. Is that the case with you?
Yes. I came from a singing family. Everybody, sisters and brothers, everybody is not so as gifted as the other, but I mean, I can't say that they're not as gifted. I just think that everybody had their own uniqueness. So they had their own lane. All the way to the parents, and also cousins. Also, not just that, you know, sometimes they say more is caught than taught. And I was around other musicians and other people that wasn't family, but they were friends who had talents, who had gifts. So rubbing shoulders with other people sharpened my gift.
Right.
You know, so and not just that, it allowed me to hone my skills even more on a greater platform.
Right.
From a greater platform, and learning how to be coachable, teachable, and trainable, and know that I can't do it by myself. I didn't just get to being the Billy Cook I am today because I was just so good at what I do. I had at least had an ear to listen, you know, and a heart to understand, and know that everything around me is not catered for me. But if I'm going to make my stand and be different from everybody else, I just got to be better than who I was yesterday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You
Well,
know,
let me say something else real quick that I forgot to mention. You talking about a guy who is as accomplished as Billy Cook, who has appeared on over 700 projects, who's one of the greatest singers I personally ever heard. But the part that I forgot to mention is how humble the guy is. He's always been the same person ever since I've known him, and we know that in this industry you got a lot of people who the second they accumulate a grain of success, their head become the size of the Astrodome. But this brother has always been, I've never known him to be full of himself. He's always been a person who's shown great humility, but yet he still know that he cold, you know, that confidence. So I mean, we always appreciated you for that quality too, big brother.
Man, I appreciate y'all too, man, and I also appreciate everybody else in the SBC. People don't understand what you have been doing too as well. You know, a lot of people can look at artists like you and I, you know, and Murder One, and other artists like, you know, that I featured on. I featured on a lot of records with a lot of great artists. You know, but what attracted them to me and me to them was the fact that our heart was bigger than our gift. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you got to have a giving heart, be able to give back. You can't always be the one to take. Mm-hmm. And the thing about in this industry, people will recognize you for who you really are, because in the beginning, people will show you exactly who they are.
Yes, sir.
So when you see who they are in the beginning, that's who they are in the end.
Right.
And one thing is to give recognition where recognition is due, and I do that, you know, in a humble way with everybody, because I want to see them make. I generally want everybody to make it. Yeah. Because I know if everybody makes it, I know I'll make it.
Come on, without a doubt. So Billy Cook is in the building with us tonight, live here on K-Rino Radio. You were speaking about earlier when you was signed to Rap a Lot. Was that when they had the Sing a Lot label going on?
Because,
go ahead.
Yeah, when I first, I was on an independent label. I had it was humble beginnings for me.
Right.
You know, green in the music industry. The first label I signed with was a label called Always Infinity Records, and when I tell you that was my manager, who's still my manager to this day, it's been 27 years.
Wow.
You know, and other managers have come. You know, Cynthia, who was my manager and still is my manager to this day. She, a lot of times, stepped out of the way and let the other people come in and be part, you know, the people that we gave positions, you know, management positions, right. You know, and let them do their part. But yet, if things didn't go right, it always came back down saying that, it didn't work out because of your manager. Yeah. But they didn't realize is that she was silently sitting in the cut, just sitting back watching them do what they do. But whenever things went wrong, she picked up the pieces and made it right. So I think that was another intricate part of my success of why I always needed management, because you can't see what other people see.
Right.
You know, right. And from there, my career progressed even more because I kept her by my side doing what I was doing. Wow. You know, where she allowed me to be the artist, and I allowed her to be management and do what she does, manage my career. Not do as I say, but manage my career to the best of her ability and grow herself while I grow myself as an artist, because I can't wear all those hats. Yes, went from Always Infinity Records to landing me a deal with Rap a Lot Records. Jay Prince said, if this dude can wake up out of his sleep and sing, I'll sign it. I'll give him a shot. I'll sign it.
Boy, can
give him whatever he want.
Yeah.
And between that business transaction was the kickoff of who Billy Cook would one day soon become in the industry as an iconic figure to help other people. You know, we're here not for ourselves. We're here for everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Just like our music. I mean, I can't buy all my records, but I know it's enough people out there who can buy my records. So do it for them and not just for myself. Do it for the love and the joy, but make sure that you can get the music that people want. And you're not going to please everybody. But just from knowing that, allow that to morph and be able to grow. From Always Infinity Records to Rap A Lot, which is Jay Prince, who actually saw a special interest in me and what I was doing. So I pay homage to those two from the start of my career, from the beginning to where I'm at today.
Let me ask you this, because when you talked about Cynthia managing you for all those years and the relationship that y'all had in terms of her knowing when to, okay, I'm going to let this happen, and then her knowing when to jump in and be like, hold on, I got this. Is that something y'all discussed in the beginning, or did that kind of just naturally evolve? Y'all just had, some people are blessed with a God-given chemistry. Just like we ain't talked about it, we just clicking. You know, you ever play basketball? I never played with this guy in my life, but somehow we on the same page. Is that something y'all discussed, the direction your career was gonna go and how y'all wanted to do, or it just came about like that?
We did more of, I think it was more of a chemistry, and then all the other parts all the other loose ravel, we kind of like just snipped at. Yeah. You know, we kind of like, it was kind of, it's kind of like a sifter.
Right.
You know, you kind of like, you put everything in the sifter and you shake it and wait for everything to kind of do what it's going to do.
Right.
You know, you know, or instead of us just trying to throw mud on the wall to see what stick, we actually, really had to go through it. It's almost like on-the-job training.
Right.
You have to go through it to know it. It's a feel. And then whatever, and then you break, then after that, at the end of the day, you break you know how the coach say, everybody come on in.
Right.
You know, we're going to bring it in and we're going to, let's talk about not what you did wrong. Let's talk about what you did and how to make it better.
Yes, sir.
Quick to say, okay, look, if you do, instead of saying you messed up right here, because a lot of people don't know, even when I'm on stage, it's a lot of times I mess up on stage. People don't know it, but me and she knows, because she knows what I can really do. She knows when I'm sick. She knows when my voice is not all the way 100%.
Right.
You know, she can tell my voice is at 150%.
Right. Right.
You know, but and other people too, as they get in the mixing and the chemistry of it, they kind of see too, and they kind of like, everybody just kind of like roll with all of the punches that come our way. Right. And we all just get a hammer and start chipping at that boulder until we knock it down to where it looks like something. Instead of a square wheel, now it's a round wheel.
Right, right.
And that's really what everybody needs to do, is allow things to really happen the way it needs to happen.
Yeah, and just to have that people don't last in those kind of connections. They don't last 6 months to a year a lot of the times. For y'all to make it this long, it just speaks to y'all having that kind of connection. We live with the legend Billy Cook. Let me ask you this, man. Now, we know that in the city of Houston, this is a rap dominated city. It's always have been. We've had a few groups, singing groups, R&B groups, singers to come out and make it pop. But speak to the struggles that an R&B artist has coming out of this market, and even personal struggles that you may have had, because hip hop is more, I'd like to be on the radio, but I don't necessarily need it because I can get it in the underground. Right. Whereas R&B, you really kind of need that radio, that push. How has that affected your career and how you've done your thing?
To be honest with you, it has affected me a lot. On the radio side. It has never affected me on the underground scene. Right, because even though it's rap dominated, I had to get out there and grind like them in order to be accepted. Because people was like, well, shoot, you ain't grinded like me, so how you gonna be like me? I gave out my postcards. I grind city to city, state to state. I went and got van raps. I went and I went to the clubs. I sang on everything that they play. Something say, hey, check me out. I was kind of like how Lil Wayne and Baby was. Lil Wayne would always call and leave voice messages on Baby's phone and everything. When he was like, I think between 6 and 9 years of age. Letting him hear stuff that he just freestyling and rapping on the phone until he got that call back. and before Baby took him under his wing. I was the same way with my management.
Wow.
You know, and so I would always sing. I came from a long line, a lineage of friends, of people around me who really loved R&B, even though they rapped or they was in a rap community. This industry will make you pull your hair out. That's why I don't have any right now. I just say, or I just cut it off. But this industry, it was a hard grind. It still is a hard grind, but it's worth the results.
Yeah.
You will have a lot of people like I've had, a matter of fact, I got some names I wrote down. We wrote down earlier, and then she just added some more on here. But these are names that I want people to understand, because now this is the talk that we had before we got here. The question you asked.
Right.
We talked about names that I didn't want to forget, because I knew that those questions may arise or may come up.
Right.
I was on tour with Grinding with Rappers. I was on tour with Juvenile. I was one of the original members out of UTP. Me, Wacko, Young Buck, Corey C, and Skip. Juvenile's artists.
Right.
And also I was on the records that actually helped. In the middle, I met these same people along the way while I was working with that group. I was on the road with Kiki. Now, Bun B, Chameleonaire, Big Mike.
Right.
These are artists that so many people I really kept in contact with at the time that I was doing the records. Now, the biggest thing was with the being in the moment is you feel bad because you stand out because you're the only R&B artist in the mix.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But it's when your name don't get mentioned.
Yeah.
And they don't do it on purpose.
Right.
It's just that it's not a Billy Cook interview.
Yeah.
It was whoever the artist was there, but because you're there, you're thinking that, I know he ain't gonna forget about me.
Right.
But the questions was it wasn't the artist, it was the person that was interviewing that artist. So that's how sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle, being at the peak of a career or the peak of a song that you're on that's a hit. Yeah. And I'm on a lot of hits.
No question. And we're going to get into those hits too, but we're going to stay on that point, because that, like I say, that has to be tough, because you're dealing in the industry with a lot of rappers, and then you are the R&B guy, and in most cases, and I'm sure you would attest to this, in most cases there probably been many times where your hook actually is what made the song be what it is in a lot of circumstances. So to not get that recognition and that mention, it's a lot of songs, the only part we know is the hook. And your voice is a distinct voice. You don't sound, I can't pick an artist off the top of my head that I could say, if somebody that never heard of Billy Cook was asking me, well, who he kind of remind you? I can't think of nobody that you remind me of, because you got your own sound. Right. So yeah, that has to be a tough thing. Do you subscribe to the notion that has always been kind of what people would put out there, is that as an R&B singer, they used to say it about rappers too, but not so much now since Houston market kind of got popping, you got to leave Houston to make it? I know you've heard that, but do you believe in that? Or
I believe that strongly.
You believe as an R&B singer?
I really do. Because I think more than anything, it's really not that. I think it's more the politics here.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Yeah,
that's why I don't really get off into them. I just go do what I need to do. Success is the best revenge of anything. Yeah. Anything that you have to deal with when it come down to that.
Right.
I don't play favorites. I associate with everybody. I'm that singer that I didn't just grind in the streets like the rappers. I sung at the funerals. I sung at the birthday parties, the Sweet 16s. I sung for the grandmother's birthday party. It's all the things that I've done, all the things that I allowed myself to do, because I knew my worth. My thing is, do it for them, because they are the people and they need to hear how you feel.
Right.
People sense and know who you are just from how you sing too as well. I sing passionately from the heart, from the gut, from the head, and until when I sing, sometimes I sing so hard my back hurt.
Yeah.
So that lets you know I'm singing for real.
Right.
Ain't no faking with this right here. It's the real deal,
Yes,
you know.
sir.
And so that's why just to go through what I go through, and having to leave Houston, sometimes it's just going to the next city.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to the next town, and just bleeding the block. And most of the underground hip hop community, they understand and know that.
Yeah.
Let me just go to the next city, because the stations will tell you we don't see no activity or promotions on your record in the streets.
Right. Right.
But it only lasts so long. It's almost like a rain. When the rain come, you don't see nothing.
Right.
When the sun come out, everybody out.
Yes,
When
sir.
the rain come, ain't nobody there. So it's the same thing about being seen with your record, and what kind of activity are you putting into the community or into the hip hop scene. It's only so many DJs can play your record at one club.
Yeah.
So and you just gotta take it with a grain of salt and not be thin-skinned. You gotta be thick-skinned, and you gotta go out there and just take it one day at a time, one song at a time, one postcard at a time, one person at a time, shaking hands. Like Cynthia always tell me, you gotta be like our.
Go shake some hands, kiss some babies.
Yeah,
right.
we out here politicking.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, make friends. And one thing,
Yeah.
and everybody in this whole entire industry out of Houston, Texas, they know me. It's gonna be kind of hard to out-friend Billy Cook.
No question. Come on, man. Come on,
Because
man.
I'm your friend.
Yeah.
I'm your mama's friend, your daddy's friend.
Right.
I'm your kid's friend. I'm your dog's friend. I'm your cat's friend. I'm your parrot's friend. My thing is the art of communication.
Right.
How to win friends and influence people, and to be able to deal with them, to get my music out there, but at the same time do it in a genuine way because I genuinely care, not just I'm looking at the outcome. See, I have an end game. After all this is done, if I did have a deal, which I am the deal, I don't have to go get a deal.
Right.
If I had a certain situation, I would go out and help everybody. You remember the song, I like to teach the world to sing, and that just gives you some clarity about where I came from, the era.
Right.
I'm still stuck in that era, but I live in the new era.
Yeah, no doubt. It's
so-
about evolving and being who you are. I tell people all the time, like we are like a circle.
Yeah.
And if you true to yourself, you exist in your circle. It's not about becoming something else. It's just about expanding your circle. And so anything that happens, I still dictate it. I'm just growing my own world. We want to talk about some of the iconic tracks that you've been on. You've been on songs that if we just start saying the first two words, if I just say, player haters want it, it's over.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Everybody else would automatically join in. Superstar, Platinum in the Ghetto. One of my favorites is the one you did with Roe and Trader, Miss My Dog. That's one of my personal favorites, even though the other ones were bigger.
Yeah.
How does it feel to know that you can't be written out of history just because of the fact that you've been on such legendary songs that people gonna sing forever? Because like we talk about the Fat Pat song, the Superstar song, that came out like about 20 years ago. Right?
Yeah. It's
So-
approximately right at about 20 to going 26 years now.
So, and if you go to a club tomorrow night and they play that, everybody in there gonna still be rocking the same way, and they're gonna be singing the hooks that you were on, bro.
Absolutely.
So that had to be a good feeling, because we in an industry where a lot of times if we are doing it on an independent level, we don't get the recognition that we feel we should get. But as you said earlier, when you put in the right kind of work, they can't erase that. That's some ink.
Exactly.
That's some ink that can't get rubbed off, bro.
See, and that's what I love about history. History is when history is written. And it's one thing when it's written in blood or written in ink. It's two different things. There's gonna always be a digital imprint somewhere.
Right.
And touching somebody's heart. A lot of times, in the industry, people confuse growth with swelling.
Yeah.
And I've been growing in this industry and enough to know that that I've been on those records. A lot of people didn't know that I was on those records because my name is not on that record.
Right.
Believe it or not, my name is not even on that record. Period.
Well, I'm gonna
I
tell
had
you.
to go out and promote it and sing it. I go and perform the actual song.
Thank you.
That's how people know that it was me.
Right.
And now I had to help write history.
You control your own narrative, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And see, that's what I was gonna say. You read my mind because I've seen you perform, and I've seen you do like a prelude to it, like you lay out the song that you've been on.
Right.
For the people where y'all don't know who y'all in the presence of right now. Let me educate you real quick, and that's what you're supposed to do, because now people in the crowd going, oh, that's him. Oh, that's him. You know, and the people that knew is like, yeah, where you been? You know.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what because one of the mistakes that I think a lot of us make is we kind of fall back, or we get discouraged about how the industry treated us, or how the people treated the radio station or whatever, and that puts us in a position where other people can take control and rewrite the history. If they don't put your name on the record, I'm gonna let you know that was me. So Billy Cook is in the building, big brother.
Wow,
you know,
man.
we gonna talk about, kind of segue out of that, through all of this industry stuff and all the stuff we've been talking about. How do you still maintain love for the art form? Because a lot of people get discouraged by how the industry treats them. How do you still manage to say, man, I still love to do what I do and not let that hinder you?
Because my future is greater than my past.
Come on.
You know, I don't trip, because I know every day I'm writing my movie.
Right.
You know, and if I allow my movie, my future movie that I'm writing to be dictated by my past, it'll blackmail my future.
Right.
And
Teach 'em.
and I have in the past is the reason I'm where I'm at right now in the future.
Right.
Yeah, I live in the future, and my music is supposed to be awe-inspiring, never ending.
Right.
You know, forever writing, forever enduring, forever soaring over all obstacles. You know, and I've, like with all the records, I'm working with some artists right now that believe enough in me to inspire them to push forward. You know, and that's we say in some of the industries that I'm in, pray until success happens, or push until success happens. And like Johnny Light Show, I'm working with this young brother right now, and Johnny Light Show is an artist. We did a song called We Throw, and he's working on his brand. He takes my advice. Now, can a rapper take an R&B artist advice? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Especially when an R&B artist can humble himself and get out the way.
Right.
I've been getting out the way for a long time. You know, and you know, there's other artists I'm working with right now too as well that understand that you have to have management. You have to be able to listen. You have to be, and I put in enough work to do that. I put in enough work. I can run, you know, with a team of people guiding me. Notice I said with people guiding me, I can run labels here in Houston.
Right.
You know, but that's because I know that it's not going to be. It's going to take more than just me to do it. But the thing about this whole entire prelude to what we got going on in Houston is we got to get rid of it's no hate. It's really just selfishness.
Come on, man.
That's really all it is.
Yeah.
It's called professional jealousy. Because see, while every other city is shining and connecting each other, connecting the dots, doing their TV shows, their radio shows, everybody else, we allow everybody to come in and take over.
Then we complain about
And
it.
then we complain about it.
Right.
You know, but wait
Right.
till somebody pull a you on you.
Yeah.
You know, that's when it's going to get real, really real, you know?
Right.
So, but I most definitely want to thank K-Rino Radio, the grandfather of I'm gonna say the grandfather of hip hop underground for just bringing me here, because you have no idea how you inspired me. I ain't never told nobody this, but check this out. I remember when I was looking for Fat Pat when I did that song Superstar. The first song I did was Get Over That, and a certain person at a label at the time told me not to go do the song with Fat Pat. Said he gonna be he all right. Them boys not gonna do nothing. And I was like, in my heart, I was like, man, this got to be the biggest record I ever featured on.
Sir,
I'm like,
sir.
man, they got me singing all over the song. I was scanning in, and they was like, man, what is this boy rambling about? And I was trying to find him. I know that Mike D and Fat Pat had just left the studio where y'all was recording that. And they were leaving out. And I said, all these cars parked downstairs, and you was upstairs, you was recording.
Wow.
You know, I think it was at your house. I think I met your dad.
Okay, at Lake City, at a record label, probably on that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. That was a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
And that's when everything changed. I went from singing from that record, from singing on Little Old Blood Money record, start working with Zero and Trey,
Right.
Lil Kiki, everybody in the industry.
Right.
I met DJ Screw. He had an event. It was him and it was South Park Mexican. South Park Mexican just did his deal, and I was like, I've been doing all these songs with the Screwed Up Click, and I said, hey, Screw, hey man, this game inspired me. I said, man, how do I become a part of the Screwed Up Click?
Right.
He said, man, you already Screwed Up Click, man. You've been, you know, I thought you was already Screwed Up Click, you know. So
that's him, man.
like I asked the question, and the answer that I was seeking was already inside of me.
Right.
So a lot of you guys are trying to search for something, and it's already inside of you. Everything starts and ends with you.
Right.
So be the beginning, be the head, and not the tail, and all this stuff that we're doing, it'll work out.
And something you said a while back, he said, I live in the future. And that caught my attention because it just speaks to being a visionary. We're working right here in the present, but it's preparing us for a bigger destiny down the line. But the only way to fulfill that destiny is to see it first.
Yeah.
You have to see it, then follow the steps to make it manifest itself. So that was a real profound statement that you made. I want to go on a lighter note real quick because another thing about you that I always appreciated, and you know, we in the music industry, and it's unfortunate now that I'm starting to see a lot of rappers do this, and we talk about this all the time. You are a real singer. When you get on that stage, you singing your song live, you know, and you know we in the industry where people is lip syncing and rapping or singing over the vocals, kind of get a lot of protection. If you go in the studio, it's pretty heavily auto-tune influence, and that's fine, you know. But because my thing is, if you can do that, but it's only for the sound of the record, that's fine. But when you get on that stage, you can still kill it, and I have no problem with it. I know you got that old school upbringing. Speak to the importance, in your opinion, of what it is for a singer to get up there and sing for real, sing those words live like that.
The importance of it is to let people know that you actually can sing. I mean, if you are a singer, you should sing.
Right.
Because you have a lot of, like you said, the people that use auto-tune. Auto-tune is really for a sound of pitch correction.
Yeah. Something's wrong.
And so the importance of people getting up there to sing shows people how you actually can finesse a song. I can guarantee this right here, if a lot of those records, if the music went out on the stage,
Oh man.
and the mic was still on, how would you perform?
Come on, man. Come on. We've seen a lot of what's happened. They're standing. They're gonna look behind them like, hey.
But they try to blame it on the DJ or the sound. It's not that.
Come on.
You have to look at yourself. But the importance of singing is very important, that you sing your record so people can hear the clarity,
right,
and understand what your message. I sing for a message. I sing because if I'm talking about love, I'm gonna talk about love. If I'm talking about sex, I'm talking about sex. If I'm talking about taking you back in history, talking about that. If I'm talking about living my dream, I'm living my dream. That's what we're talking about. You don't want to get people, so that's why when people hear me sing live, and or hit me freestyle any kind of R&B or something, because most of my songs I freestyle, I wind up coming back, learning that freestyle, and then I go and perform it better.
Right.
So that when somebody hears me do something or hear a quote of my music, they can say, hold up, that dude sing for real. I wonder how he sound in the booth.
Yeah.
So amplified.
Right.
And can he write like what I'm hearing him do? So I get a lot of work like that because I sing for real.
Yes,
A lot of people don't get a lot of features because
Yeah.
they do not sing for real.
Yeah, man.
So that's the difference. I've made hundreds of thousands, if not millions, just because I actually sang for real.
Yeah, that's
and I think that
important.
if other R&B singers do that in Houston and start collaborating doing that, it'll happen for them too as well.
And then if you go to see a live show and it's a band playing, the guitar player, he's playing the guitar. The drummer is playing the drums, the horn player is playing. Your voice is your instrument. That's your instrument. So if I come to see you, I want to hear you use your instrument
Exactly.
live. So that's what, but like I said, rappers are doing it too now. Rappers lip syncing and frolicking around. You see these guys, they on stage, the mic way down here.
Right.
They forgot. Yeah, they so into doing everything else. I want to go into something else because one of the things that we talk about a lot when we have artists on the show is how us being from the hood, if you would say, and a lot of the things we've been able to experience through music has allowed us to do things we may not have imagined or saw ourselves doing, like seeing the world and things that we didn't go to school to get degrees to learn.
Exactly.
You are one of the handful of artists out of the city of Houston that have enjoyed a lot of international success as well. I remember when you went to Japan, I remember you was getting that popped off, man. Explain how that came about also, but explain the differences, I guess, in the international market compared to domestically, and how you've been able to use that to further your legacy and to your benefit.
Okay, cool. Well, first off, how that came about is did a lot of praying.
Right, come on.
For my career. I never lost my identity.
Right.
I stayed true to my sound. I didn't try to change and do what everybody else was doing. I just kept doing me.
That's good.
I also would happen to be at Takeover Studios. I think that's the name of the studio.
Yeah, right there in the hood.
Hollywood Hall.
Yeah.
I was over there, and my cousin Mike Mack was over there running the studio, and some guys came from Japan, was trying to buy some records or anybody that was there, and they so happened to see me there, and they had an interpreter, and they inquired about me. They want to bring me to Japan,
Wow.
and they was looking for another artist. They asked about me and they asked about Hawk, and shortly right after that, we was getting prepared for that tour. We was trying to get in touch with Hawk to let Hawk know that they wanted to hear him perform over in Japan, because they had my record, the Truth album at the time. And I had a song that, but it was me, Hawk, and Michi. A song called, the song was, it wasn't the Energizer, it was called Drama.
Right.
And they said, okay, look, they did the research and said, okay, Billy Cook and Hawk were on so many records at the time, more than anybody else.
Right.
And over in Japan, they had a wall. It was a record label called In Front Records. In Front Record. And they had a wall of nothing but West Coast rap, East Coast rap, South gangster rap, Chicano rap. It was just different walls, different music from different cities. And they were inquiring about bringing me over there. And I was on and then from the South, they had a wall, and on that whole entire wall, they had so many different artists from the South, and they had sticky tabs on all those records, on all the CDs, off, and it said Billy Cook on this record, Billy Cook on this record, Billy Cook on that record. We found that out through a distribution company that was in Houston, and they were saying anything that had my name on it, they would sell more records.
Wow.
And so that's how we was finding out how this all came about by me going to Japan. is that they were saying that I'm the link from Texas to Japan.
Man.
So anything that I was on would sell more. If I wasn't on it, it would sell a little bit. But if I was on it, it would sell more.
Wow.
But it was basically an introduction to other artists to seeing what the other talent was here. Not it's just that I was a link. I was the connection. Not saying that it was because I was so good, but
Well, I'll say it was. Let me say it. It was because you were so good.
I had a lot of people along over the years that put me in the right places,
Right.
and I accepted. I listened,
Right.
and it allowed that to germinate, those seeds to grow. You know, we planted seeds other places, but those seeds wound up being somewhere else and grew other places. So that was a great thing. And so, with that happening at the studio with Mike Mack, he gave us a call. So they want to bring you to Japan for a 3-city tour. And we was like, cool. They said, want to know what you want.
Right.
And we told them what we wanted. More than the money, I wanted my family to go and
Come on.
experience it. So I took my family and some neighbors.
Wow.
You know, these are new neighbors.
Mother.
I took my mother. I took a couple of neighbors. I took my kids.
Blessing the game, man.
You know, and my manager, my other manager went with us. You know, and they gave me enough money to where I made sure their household was taken care of before we left, so they can enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And we went to the Nagoya Castle. We went to Sapporo, Yokohama. We did the clubs they had was 2-story clubs. They were packed. And they sold all the records. They asked to make sure we brought records because they want to sell records.
Yeah.
They T-shirts and towels, and all I had to do was go and enjoy myself.
Man.
So bigger than the money, the experience was the best thing I ever had. Happened. That's how the whole thing came about. Was Mike Mack.
And then what's crazy, because you got a lot of enjoyment out of being able to make it possible for your people to come with you. You know, that's what I got out of that whole story, because sometimes it may have been a scenario where they may have never got that opportunity to have that experience. So that was big, because you could have easily just said, well, you know what, whatever y'all was gonna spend on them plane tickets, y'all just put this add that to my
Right.
That's probably what I would have did. But I mean, that's beautiful though, man. I mean, because that's what family is. You look out for your people, and now looking back on it, that's an experience that they can say, well, hey man, well, I remember one time we went to Japan and because, you know, let's face it, man, for us, sometimes we don't leave the hood, we don't leave the porch. So to get those opportunities, music has afforded us a lot of situations like that. So it's really a blessing.
It's a lifestyle. Music has afforded everybody here that's dipping in it, tipping in it, cannonballing in it.
Yeah.
It has afforded us a lifestyle. Life is what God gave you. Style is how you live it.
Right.
And we've been very fortunate. We've been very blessed. And I'm not just talking about me and my camp. I'm talking about all of us that's connected. Speaking of connected, I was really glad that I was able to work with you on your record. I know we did what 5-6 records
On brother Abdul Mack's record. Yeah. We both collabed with him. But
Right.
you've actually worked on my project when I dropped the 7, you know, and I was glad to be on the song that me and you did on your project.
It's gonna call Memories.
Yeah, it's just dope, man.
And if I tell you, man, you very gifted writer, man. I've been since the ABCs, man. I'm like,
God is great, bro.
Yeah, me and Mike Moe from Beltway 8.
Yeah,
back in the
guy.
day, you know, we was just talking about, man, how, you know, you ever seen that the movie Undisputed?
I never saw or heard of it, but never saw
You
it.
know, it's kind of like Too Sweet. You
Yeah.
know, you're undisputed, and you are underrated.
Oh,
You
man.
know, but never hated.
Oh man,
You know,
I'm blessed, brother. I thank everybody, man. You know, we just got to keep our foot on the gas, big brother. You know, that's all it's about. It's just making sure that we keep our consistency up. Another thing, when you talked about, we think about all the songs that you've been on. Who haven't you worked with out of Houston? Just if you could think of somebody that, because if you go down the list, man, it's like, well, nah, he did some with him. Like, no, nah, he did some. Who in Houston that you haven't worked with that you say, I'd love to work with that guy?
B. I'm sorry.
We've talked about this. I've been wanting to do a song.
Okay.
Beyonce. I've been wanting to do a song with Beyonce.
I'm thinking about rap. I'm like, baby,
Straight to the top.
There's I've always wanted to work with all the groups that had that came when at the time they came out. I always wanted to work with H-Town.
Right.
I've never worked with them, and these are the R&B groups. Ideal.
Right.
But as far as when it come down to the rappers, I've always wanted to work with a lot of them, like Klondike Cat, Gangsta Nip, Q-Boy. Me and Q-Boy went to school together.
Yeah.
He and I and Kiki, we all went to school together. We've managed to, but at the top of my list, Beyonce most definitely is the #1 person I want to do a song with.
Man, that would be sick, man. You and Cat would be sick. That would be, man.
Hell yeah.
I ain't got Beyonce number, but I can call Cat for you, man. But I think that would be really great because you got to understand, your career precedes theirs, so coming up in Houston, I'm sure they know what the business is. If you just walk up on it and go, just do that, they don't know what it is. But go ahead, big
I remember when Luther Vandross came through Houston, and he was inquiring about who is that singing on Superstar.
Wow, man.
With Fat Pat.
Right.
Because they just happened to listen to 97.9.
Right.
I mean, everybody, even though Luther's was a monster, man, with his R&B. A lot of my style come from that era, with him. And but Teddy Riley came through when Platinum in the Ghetto was playing, and he inquired about me.
Right.
And because it was playing on radio at the time. But like I told you, politics can thwart a lot of different things. But if we change that now, the future could be a whole lot brighter, and everybody have to put on sunshades.
Yeah. That's the dirty side of the business, because I think that anybody who hears your voice in passing, they're gonna be like, "Who is that?" You got that "who is that" factor. Like you minding your own business now, so like, who is that? That's a fact, bro, because you got that kind of voice. And when you mention Luther Vandross, that just reminds me of you in a way, because it's like effortless on the stage. You ain't up there trying to struggle to get it out, and man, I sure hope I can perform this like it's on the record. You have an effortless delivery in how you lay it down, and that's just how Luther was. So obviously he heard something in you that sparked his interest, because it probably reminded him of himself.
But that's how it was with when Boyz II Men first came to Houston.
Yeah.
I just happened to be at the the Hilton. Yeah. And I met them in the lobby.
Right.
And I said, "Hey man, my name is Billy Cook. I'm a singer from Houston, and I can y'all give me some pointers?"
Right.
It was like, "Well, what do you sing? Let me hear you sing something."
Right.
So I was singing, said, I mean, you didn't, what kind of pointers?
They were like, "Can you give us some pointers?" Yeah.
It was real nice.
Yeah.
Told me to keep doing what I was doing. It just encouraged me
Right.
and said, just keep at it. And I've been keeping at it since then. Right. When LL Cool J came here, same thing.
Yeah.
I met these guys on the fly, because I knew what hotel it was going to be at, so I gave me inside scoop, because I knew if I was going to the concert, it was going to be a lot of hustle and bustle.
You wouldn't be able to get to them. Yeah.
And I know that, and everybody know me. I was humble enough to approach people.
Right.
And I wasn't scared.
And hungry enough to approach.
Hungry enough to approach.
See, it ain't always about. See, some people come in the farm. It ain't about being no groupie. It's about, I'm trying to get my shot. Yeah, this is part of my business package right now.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. How you think Boyz II Men got on? They did the same thing with Michael Bivins.
Right.
They bum rushed him and got that look.
Yes. Yeah, and you look at it, most of the artists, like from Tank, I met him here when he came to Houston. I met R. Kelly when he came here. At the time when Aaliyah was, when they was Blackground, I met him at the YMCA. Through one of my other managers that played with the Globetrotters. He always came and played basketball, and that's how we met him. And had a show in Killeen. Gave me some tickets and went to a show in Killeen, and met him backstage. He wanted to meet me, So, and he's like, man, I want to produce your project. At the time, I was signed with Rap a Lot.
Right.
But the same thing, the opportunities came again with Lil G with Silk.
Yeah.
You know, wanted to head my project. I was in a lot of situations and met a lot of artists that took me all the way to California and all the way back, up and down the coast. And I think that the reputation, I was building the footwork, the groundwork, the foundation for where I'm at today to be able to speak on it. But my movie, we're working on a movie too. So you know, we're working on a movie. A lot of people are going to be in this movie. It's going to be real important that that they show up for this, because it's about the history of where I came from and what all I've been able to do. Rest in peace, Wicked Cricket, and you know, big shout out to Meester Greenster.
No doubt.
To everybody that's actually listening in. I want to give some shout outs to also Chameleonaire. His album went platinum. The album I was on, I think it was Sound of Revenge.
Salute. Yes,
also, Bun B's album, of course, you know, it's well over platinum. I was on the album, Trill album.
Right.
You know, a song called I'm a G. Mike, not my, I was gonna say Mike B, but Big Mike from the Ghetto Boys. That album went gold. Actually came out gold when I was on that record, but it went platinum as well. Rest in peace, my nephew Big Mo. Also, rest in peace, Hulk, DJ Screw, Fat Pat, 3-2, Grace. You know, it's a lot of people, man, we've lost, but we've gained more by Houston coming together, just like the flood.
Yeah.
And we were in it. I've had my ups and downs in this career, but I think I've had more ups than I had downs.
Yeah, no doubt.
And but the downs have made me stronger enough to not forget. And that's my message for everybody, is to never forget, move forward, never backwards.
And you said that you live in the future, so the best is yet to come, brother. Tell them what you got coming out. Tell them about the new project. We got about 5 minutes.
Okay, the new album, So Iconic, is coming real soon, guys. I don't have an actual date, but you'll start seeing me pop up singles on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, Instagram Live. Also, we got a video game that we're getting ready to drop real soon. Tony Hitman, shout out to my other manager. Also Cynthia Cook, she's right here in the booth with me too as well. You know, she's making sure that I stay on point with my notes, because I freestyle most of my information. And I said, can you please just write? She's like, no, you just go in there and wing it. You know, K-Rino told me to wing it too. So I'm, just be natural. But because I have my brain is like an information box. I'm like Lil Wayne. I move on from one thing and go to another. Y'all probably hear me all over the place. Working on Johnny Light Show's album. He getting ready to release real soon. The single we're getting ready to shoot a video on called We Throw. Look on my Instagram page, also on my Facebook. You'll see that too as well. Just did a video with Hot Boy Trail out of Dallas, out of Funky Town. We just did that video. It's online too as well. The video coming real soon. Also just finished up a song with Cap, Antoine, Day and Night. The song is a dedication to DJ Screw. Wow. We're getting ready to shoot a video to that too as well. Also the song with me and Cap. You know, the video coming with that soon. Y'all know Cap, SBC.
Oh, yeah, no question.
You know, also I did a song with GCC, which is Get Cash Click, out of Lake Charles. A song called Lovely Days. Been blowing up the charts, went viral, over 800,000 views and plays in less than 11 months. That's that artist's name, for those who don't know, is Mellow Vision. It's me, ESG, Mellow Vision, Big Pokey on that song. And we represent the whole Texas, Louisiana market. What else? I'm working with another guy named Ken Rothstein. Now, Ken Rothstein is 70.
Yeah. 7 or 70?
70.
70, okay.
But I worked with him, he has 7 albums.
Yeah.
And they all fire.
Wow.
You can catch them all on iTunes. Now, I work a lot.
I see, man. I mean, what we always
producing this album. I produced those albums.
Yeah.
Also Malvo with Die Enterprises. The Cook Boys album. My brothers, they coming out with an album. My nephew, King Pack. He's got an album coming out real soon. We just got a lot going on with the video game. Most definitely look out for that. We got a new video getting ready to come out. It's an animated video, cartoon video with me and 3-2 and Lil Kano. That's coming out real soon. My video with me and K-Rino is coming soon too as well. So I want y'all to make sure y'all stay tuned with that, because that song's gonna bring some memories. It's me, K-Rino, Kizzo, and also Talent. Talent is the one mixing all my records. All these years, y'all want to know why my sound is the way it is and why it lasts longer than the average record, is because he's like Dr. Frankenstein giving it life.
Yeah.
So let's make some things happen. Thank you,
the
K-Rino.
plate is full, man. It's overflowing, man. But no, bro, we thank you for joining us, man. And you know, you always welcome. And we appreciate everything you've given to us in the city of Houston and just around the world, and looking forward to more coming from us. So y'all make sure y'all be looking for Billy Cook. Go back in the past and get everything he's done, but more importantly, be looking for everything he's done in the future. We appreciate y'all again, for my homie Big Murder One and Keystone No Regret Entertainment, Cynthia Cook, Benny Cook in the building, man. Catch y'all next week on K-Rino Radio. One love. Peace.
Yeah.
Dope.